Okay, here's something else that we need to go through. The United States, actually, comparing to what Kamala Harris just said, sorry, we're a little far removed from the clip at this point. The U.S. has how many per capita? Let me bring this up. We have lower deaths per capita than the UK and a lot of other European countries, okay? Now, here's one thing I want to be very clear about, and I've talked about this repeatedly. Yes, if you look at the top states that have the highest death rates, where COVID has truly been a pandemic that they haven't gotten under control, they are almost all. I mean, if you were to look at it and you were trying to look for some kind of a correlation, some kind of a causation, they're all run by Democrats, right? And all of them had severe lockdowns. That being said, there are some exceptions, and there are some exceptions at the bottom of the list where some states that had lockdowns did okay, but most states that didn't do lockdowns tended to do better, and in the middle, it's kind of a mix and match. So I want to be clear, I'm not saying that having no lockdown stops the spread of COVID. Okay, but there is something that is absolutely undeniable, and that is nursing home deaths. It's not even close. We're looking for these graphs elsewhere, and the problem is the media never actually covers these graphs. The death rate graph has continually been doing this, and now I am astounded to know that the case graph is going down. How does that happen when you increase testing? I went through CVS pharmacy to pick up a prescription for my wife. I said, hey, you want to toss a COVID test in there? I said, no. I said, are you sure? We'll get you the results free. What is this, like a supersize me COVID test? Yeah, give me the test. By the way, positive.
Oh, hey.
It's just like a mosquito atomizer.
Actually, bring it in. I'd like to get this over with.
I want to get it over with. We'll just all do the popsicle stick test in Blood Brothers. So if you look at the Democrat governors, you have Cuomo, you have Whitmer from Michigan, right? They were forcing nursing homes to take COVID patients. Now, this is tough because we don't have an updated number on how many deaths overall are nursing home deaths. But last time we were able to access these numbers, according to the New York Times, 41% of all COVID deaths are nursing home deaths. Now, I've read as high as 47%. This is from the New York Times, and you know they really don't want it to be 41%.
Now, I wonder why we don't have updated numbers.
We do not have those numbers, and you know that it's probably a lot higher because it's cloaked in mystery right now in New York. Governor Cuomo is saying that they shouldn't have any kind of an investigation. He doesn't want there to be an investigation. He's rejected the request for a count on the
and this is after he just fired his chief of health.
Right.
Yeah. He went out there, continuously has attacked her over the last 4 or 5 months when she's been critical of his policies, and then went ahead and got the other guy back that said, oh, we should not do any kind of lockdown at all, period, whatsoever. Right. And, you know, it's crazy because now he's completely on the defensive because of this, of the facts of the senior care system.
And what's more totalitarian? Think about this. You know that Donald Trump and Anthony Fauci don't get along. They don't agree on almost anything. But people always complain that Donald Trump is nothing but sycophants and he fires everybody. He still has Fauci out there throwing pitches, if you want to call it that. Think of it for a second. You are fired immediately if you disagree with Cuomo. And with Donald Trump, the worst you get is some ball busting at a press conference. Fauci, Geppetto, I don't like him, but I'm joking. You're a good guy. Say hi to your mom. I'll see you tonight. That's about all you get. He doesn't like Fauci, but he didn't fire the guy. Yeah. He'd be well within his right to do something. And really all he does is go out and say, no, I disagree. And here we go, the data's changing, and we need to reopen the country. So it is remarkable to me when we talk about authoritarianism from Donald Trump, and you look at places like New York, you look at places like Governor Whitmer, Michigan, my home state. This is the one that really upsets me, is Governor Whitmer. She blocked a bill just recently, and I always try and see the other, maybe someone here can play devil's advocate. So we played this video on the show. Remember that young man punching the old man in the face at the old folks at the nursing home in Michigan?
Yeah.
And people go, why is that young Crip member
That's strange.
punching Grandpap?
Is he an orderly?
Why is he punching Grandpapa?
They're coming up with very
Then you realize it's because he had COVID. So it's like, okay. So you could be you're a serial violent felon, and you're under the age of 30, but you have COVID right this way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just beyond comprehension when you think about it. It took me, I read through several times to make sure I had the story straight, that this is not anybody who would normally be in a nursing home.
Right.
You're saying, we've got someone who's infected with a disease that kills old people. Where should we house them? How about a nursing home?
Right.
Like,
With
this
Gladys.
is just, And so if you think about, Kamala Harris saying,
Hey,
Trump's
Ethel,
to
you
blame.
still have that kissing booth? All right, come on, get on up there, Kwame.
Get on over
I mean,
here.
we really have no idea how high the toll is, because in New York, it's only counted as a nursing home death if they physically die in the nursing home.
Right.
If you get hospitalized beforehand, as I assume probably most would,
Right.
then it's not counted as a nursing home death. So it may be far higher. Whitmer hasn't been transparent with it, and she's literally just funneling. Maybe she's trying to kill off the old folks.
That's the conspiracy I've heard. Like, listen, that would make a huge difference in votes in Michigan because the seniors, it's a
interesting.
state
They
that
lean
went
right.
Donald Trump, and especially with 36% African American approval, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, who's even less popular, I believe, with black people than Joe Biden, if you can believe it. Kamala Harris turns out being a braggart about owning slaves, not good bedfellows with gaining a little more of the African American vote. So.
But
36%.
Gretchen Whitmer, she's such a good person. She would never do anything like that.
She would never do anything like that.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm not saying that that's the case, but it defies reason. And now she voted to block a bill. She actually not voted. She vetoed a bill that would prevent COVID patients from going into nursing home deaths, knowing what we know now. So I can't think of a more clear example of denying science. Listen. I've relinquished this territory. I've said, hey, you know what? Maybe lockdowns helped. Maybe they didn't. We can look at Sweden, who seems to be doing better than a lot of their neighbors, worse than some other neighbors. We look at the top states. They all had lockdowns. We look at the bottom states. Most of them didn't have lockdowns. But you know what? We don't know. It's a mixed bag. The one thing that is absolutely undeniable is that the average COVID patient death age is right up there at life expectancy in certain states, like New York, beyond life expectancy. We know that it is severely more dangerous. The mortality rate is far higher with old people, and we know that these policies that have put sick COVID patients in nursing homes have resulted in innumerable, it's impetuous. I am impenetrable. Innumerable deaths, at least up until this point. So then, when constituents, representatives say, hey, we need to change this in Michigan, given the science, right? We're supposed to adapt with science. And I don't even really think you need to be a climatologist to understand that sending in 22-year-old criminals into nursing homes with COVID has been bad for old people. They say, no, this is good. We're going to continue doing it. And Gretchen Whitmer vetoed that bill. So still, in Michigan, today, sick COVID patients right into nursing homes. Yeah. How do you claim that that's pro-science? You were about to say
well, what I find to be most interesting about all of this is where's the criticism for Whitmer? Like, where's the left saying, hey, when she was kind of on that short list for VP, you didn't hear the left going, well,
she wasn't a POS.
She is not a POC. That is correct. And so the issues about this make it clear that if this wasn't an election year, how the left is handling this particular problem would have been completely different. Because at every moment, at every turn, if they can do anything and spin anything to look bad about Trump, it makes clear, and they use it as a message to say he's not even qualified to run again in November. And yet all of the people who were considered, the candidates, all of those people who are in power, including Whitmer and others in Congress, doing bad things as well, not making a difference in their particular states, and yet they're still fine. It just doesn't make any sense.
Blame President Trump for the pandemic and ignore Cuomo putting his pillow over Pop's face as he jumps out the window. Shh! You're going to make me look bad.